So whose responsibility is it to report the abuse of a child? What signs should you look for and what steps should you take? And exactly what is the role of a mandated reporter? Fox 28's Casey Jones joins us from Madison Primary Center where Sturgis was a student. Casey, is there anything his teachers could have done?
Tracy, police say that Tremel Sturgis's wounds could have been covered up by clothing. Now, in the state of Indiana, a teacher is a mandated reporter, and what that means is they are required by law to report child abuse, whether they're informed about it or they suspect it. Now, teachers here say they would have never suspected it of Sturgis. He played like a champion every day. He made friends easy. He was never a bully. Still, it's hard not to question if the warning signs were there.
I'm not sure, and I don't want them to get in trouble, or I don't want the situation to be worse for the child.
Jennifer Pickering is the program director at Prevent Child Abuse in St. Joseph County. She's describing the excuses people may give when they don't report child abuse.
That's the kind of mind frame that I think we see cases like what we saw last week.
10-year-old Tremel Sturgis, bound and beaten to death by his own father. Did those around the boy overlook the warning signs?
He had layers of injuries. I have to imagine in his 10 years there were quite a few people who looked and went, I think something might be going on there.
In Indiana, a mandated reporter is a person required to report maltreatment of a child under specific circumstances. Tom Baker, commander of the St. Joseph County Special Victims Unit, says that includes teachers, nurses, and doctors, just to name a few.
It's a Class B misdemeanor in Indiana not to report it. It has no bearing at that time if something worse happens. If they fail to report it, it's a Class B misdemeanor.
Pickering says the law goes even further.
Everyone in the state is a mandated reporter, and what the law says is you don't have to know abuse happened, you just have to suspect that abuse or neglect is occurring.
According to Baker, you should report something suspicious and let the experts decide if there is in fact a case of abuse. Pickering says child abuse in Indiana is a community problem, and we can't assume someone else will take care of it. She says in the end, we must all keep one thing in mind.
The safety of those children. And even if you don't know, you just err on the side of the safety of those children.
Now, Baker says if you encounter or suspect child abuse, you can leave an anonymous tip as a person, and yet the Child Protective Services will still take the same actions.
And Casey, what if people want more information on child abuse or how to report it?
Tracy, there's a great site. It's in.gov/DCS, and on that site they have phone numbers you can call. They have a mapped out frequently asked questions and steps you can take to report child abuse.